This is my outlook on GJ for this week. Now we're going to start from the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, if you look at the structure that we are printing here, you see that we are printing bullish structure. Now price made a higher high, which is this. So we push all the way up from this zone, made a higher low, then we push all the way up to make this higher high. You see, this high is higher than this high, so higher high. Then we'll drop all the way down to this zone. Now we respected this support zone. Use this zone as a double bottom. Now I count this as a double bottom. To me, I count this as a double bottom. And from here we rejected off of it. So now you see this, the last week candlestick, which is this the last trading week. The candlestick closed bullish. Price is confirming this zone. I'm using this zone as a double bottom. You get what I'm trying to say? So potentially from this zone, I should continue bullish. So this is the price action that we are seeing on the weekly time frame. So potentially from this zone, we are going to look for longs. Now you go down to the daily time frame, you see that we are making bullish structure too. Also, we are making higher highs, right, and higher lows. Not until this zone here, which is this zone here, boom, we switch structure. See how price broke below the last higher low price made. So this was the last higher low price made. Then we made a higher high, then price boom, break below this candlestick, close below this last higher low, and from there we just had consolidation. Now if you look at the zone that which price dropped to, you see that price dropped to this zone here, this support zone. So this is a support, this is also a support, right? Price drop all the way down to this zone. Now if you look at this structure here, you see that this is an inverted head and shoulder. So this is the left shoulder, this is the head, and this is the right shoulder. So price was rejecting off of this right shoulder. Now we got this rejection, rejected so many days, both rejection and both consolidation. Then on Thursday we got this small candle here, and then on Friday we push all the way up to this zone, now confirming this inverted head and shoulder. So this is confirming that okay, yeah, price is using this zone as an inverted head and shoulder, and inverted head and shoulder is a reversal pattern. So if we're getting a reversal pattern after a switch of structure, that is after this where we switch structure, we broke past the last higher low, we also are getting an inverted head and shoulder. This is potentially telling us that okay, from this zone we should continue with the original trend, because this is a reversal pattern. You get what I'm trying to say? Yeah, so this is a reversal pattern. So this is telling us okay, we should potentially continue with the original trend that we are going. Now from this zone, potentially we could see price push all the way up to this daily high here potentially. So this daily high is our first take profit zone, or our major take profit zone. Yeah, except we don't get a rejection. If we not get a rejection off of this zone, right, and price just continue, break past this zone, continue going bullish, then yeah, you hold. Also, if you look at this, you also see that we are rejecting off of the third touch on this trend line. So this was the first touch here, first touch, second touch, and now this is the third touch. So we were rejecting off of the third touch, and we know that the third touch is majorly where price goes like aggressive. You get, like, the third touch is always the best confirmation of a trend line. Since we are rejecting off of this zone, so potentially you should see price go up to these highs here. Now if you look at if you go down to the lower time frame, the 2-hour time frame, what we'll be waiting for potentially is for price to give us a new higher low on the lower time frame. Now from the lower time frame, once you get a new higher low, we just enter longs. Potentially, I don't know how price is going to react to, but if we from this zone we get a retracement, which I would really love, because I'm not in this position. I was supposed to enter at this zone. I missed entry around this zone, so I'm not in this position right now. I'm just waiting for price to give me a higher low. So potentially from this zone, if you can reject down to this zone around 213.20 potentially, or even lower to this. I don't think we're going to go lower to this zone here, which was this resistance, which we now price now use as a support zone. I don't think we're going to go low to that zone. I think potentially around this zone. If I see price drop down to 212.46, 246 around that zone, I'm going to enter longs. Now from that longs, I'm going to hold. My SL will be around the zone here. Right? I'm just, all these are just speculations because we could go lower, you know what I'm saying? Now if you go lower, my SL will not be this zone, you get. So it just depend on how low we go or what price action we make, you get. So from that zone, I'm going to hold all the way up to this high. So that's what you are going to do. Also potentially you should wait for that. So who knows, we might not reject, but yeah, we just wait for a higher low. That's what we're waiting for, a higher low. Now if we are going to break it further, you also wait for price to give you like a double bottom on the lower time frames, like the 30 minutes time frame. So if on the 30 minutes time frame we reject and we drop all the way down, maybe down to this zone. Now looking at this also, you see that okay, another zone price might also go down to maybe 213.35. So you get, then we get, once we get a rejection of this zone, then yeah, we could also enter. But I don't like using the lower time frame. I don't want to complicate things at all because the lower time frame is a lot of data. So I prefer using the higher time frames from the 2 hours upward. Once you just get a little bit of rejection, you just enter. Now what I mean by high low, potentially, right, if you get something like this, see the way price drop from this zone, right? We drop, retrace. Once you get a bullish candlestick that either engulf the last bearish candlestick, just enter longs. Once you get a bullish candle, just enter longs. So if we drop all the way down, we get a bullish candle, enter longs. That's what I'm waiting for. That will be potentially be a higher low zone. Right. So yeah, that's it on GJ. Not too much. We just look for a higher low zone for we to continue riding this bullish move because we've already missed the initial our initial entry that we're supposed to have. Our initial entry is supposed to be this entry here, supposed to be this zone here, boom. This was supposed to be our entry after the price rejected off of this zone here, this zone here. After price close, this bullish candle, this 2 hour bullish candle, after we close bullish engulf this other candle, that was where our entry was supposed to be at. But since we missed the entry, we just wait for a new higher low and we ride the trend up. Now just to add something else to, we are saying potentially we should see price go all the way up to this high here. Yeah, that's right, for sure. Price with the structure price action is printed right now, we are potentially at some point in time going to see 216, but we have to be mindful because price might want to make a higher low on the daily time frame. Now we might push all the way up to this zone. Maybe we push all the way up to maybe 215. We might push all the way up to 215, and price might want to make a higher low on the daily time frame. So we might now get a retracement, boom, all the way down to this, around this zone here. And price might want to make a higher low, just like I said, on the daily time frame. And from that zone, we then continue to push all the way up. You get? So keeping this in mind, if we are entering longs, as price moves in profit, we're going to be moving our SL. Now, what you do, you'll be monitoring the structure price is making. As soon as anytime you see that price break past the last higher low we make on the 2-hour time frame, where you be monitoring the structure will be on the 2-hour time frame. Now, for example, looking at this structure now, let me just make an example. Let me draw something around here. Let's say, for example, on Monday we drop down to this zone, then we get our entry, right, and we push all the way up around this zone. We make a new like a higher low too. From this zone we push again all the way up. Maybe potentially we see another higher low again, then we push all the way up to this zone. Right now, price from this zone like just like we explained on daily time frame, price on daily time frame, price might want to make a higher low on the daily time frame, and price might just drop. So once you just monitor the structure, once you see price break past the last higher low price made, maybe from this zone now you see price break past this zone, boom, we just close our position. Now all these I'm not saying price is going to go to 215 and make a high and from there drop to make a high low. I'm just using all these are just speculatively. You guys, I'm just saying this so that you keep that in mind too, because this is something that might happen potentially, because price might not want to stretch all the way up. We might not have that volume to just push all the way up straight to this zone at once. We might not have that volume in the market. Price might want to drop a little bit, find more buyers, you get, add momentum for it to continue up, you get. So you might see something like this, then maybe from this zone you just see price, then maybe potentially or speculatively you can see just price then drop maybe down to this zone. All these are just speculations, right? And maybe from this zone now you see that this zone now will now be a higher low on the daily time frame, and from this zone you might enter longs again, and price, you know what I'm saying, slowly like that price might just use that way to just push all the way up. But at some point in time we're going to see 216 500. So you have to keep that in mind. That's why you have to keep that. That's what I'm saying. You have to keep that in mind. We might just push a price might want to make a higher low, so that at least we're going to get some type of profit from that move, that push. Get just in case price wants to make a higher low on the daily time frame before we continue bullish. Also, something I want you to keep in mind is that if you want to enter longs, if you're waiting for a retracement, just wait towards, I think, 2 hours before London section, or an hour before London section, or London section on its own. You get, we West African time, London section is around 9 a.m. So around like 7 or so, I'm already looking for an entry, because those swings, right, happens around during or around London section. If you want to give an example, you see that price was retracing on this zone here. From this zone here, see how from this zone we drop all the way down to this zone, right? Where do we get, or when do we get this candlestick that engulfed, and from that candlestick we push all the way up? This candle opened around 4 a.m. So this candlestick closed around 6 a.m. You see, so that's 3 hours before London section, and from this zone you see how we just push all the way up. So potentially, if you are going to get anything like that, it should happen around London section, or a few hours before London section. So if you are going to get a retracement, right, you should just wait maybe few hours before retrace before London section. You get, that's where your entry should be at. You get an entry. Now this is not just me just saying it, it's just the pattern price follows every time. Pattern that price follows every time. If you look at this candle here, so before we push all the way up to that high here, if you look at this candle here, this candle opened around 6. This is a 2-hour candle, opened around 6. If you look at the time down, around 6, that means this candle closed around 8. That's an hour before London section. WST, which is my own time here, West African time, 9 a.m. is London section. So boom, from the 9 a.m. so we close around 8. 8 from 8, you see we got this huge push all the way up to this zone. So if you're going to look for an entry, it should be around before or around London section. If you go to back to previous data, look to where we are making legs, where we make those legs, those significant legs, you see that it happened before or around London section, a few hours before London section or around London section. So yeah, so what we do is just wait for London section, around London section. That's where we're going to get our entry from.